All right, we're here with Melissa, with Sean Gordon from Gordon Gun Dogs, Covey Buster. How'd you come up with that name?
Well, it was kind of a spoof off the old Ghostbusters. You know, when we get in a covey of quail, we'd sit there and go, "Who you gonna call? Covey Busters."
Okay, so they got quite a story about their kennel, how they started it, their past. So, Melissa, why don't you introduce this?
Okay. I married into this, so he had all this prior to my arrival. We've been together since 1994. I've known him since I was 13 years old. We both got married at the same time. We both got divorced at the same time. I haven't regretted it since. He introduced me to German Shorthair Pointers,
Upland hunting.
fishing. I mean, I've done it, gone everywhere with this man. Take it over, babe. Join this discussion.
Yeah, I drug her all across the country, hunting and fishing and chasing dogs in my dreams, kind of like the old Tammy Wynette, George Jones song, "My Elusive Dreams." And it's been a fun ride. Now we're on a new venture where we're raising and training German Shorthair Pointers full time.
It's always been a dream of Rashawn's, and I'm here to make sure that dream comes true.
So, what'd you give up to do this?
17 years at Prim Valley Casino.
Yeah, we gave up a steady, secure job. I had actually thought that I was going to, at one point, retire from Prim. And when let me back up. I worked at the wastewater treatment plant there, and there was another guy that worked there, Mike. Mike and I ran the plant, but Mike ended up getting fired. So it took a long time to get a replacement for him. I ended up missing 3/4 of the hunting season. That just didn't set right with me. I've always had the dream of raising and training dogs. And about November, middle of the hunting season, is when this is what I want to do. I want to, say goodbye Prim, German Shorthairs full time. And luckily, because I ended up meeting Randy Randall, he invited us to come down and he helped us get started and helped fulfill my dream.
How has it been?
The part with Randy Randall fulfilling my dream. Both have been great.
We couldn't have done it without you, Randy.
Thank you. So you guys have worked hard. I mean, you've been doing this for a year now, and you have a past, right? You have a past in dogs. You know German
Yes.
Shorthairs inside and out. You know about hunting. You've run preserves. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the first preserve I worked at was called Hidden Valley. Melissa and I guided there for 5 years, and then was it the last 2 years I became the ranch manager?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was manager at that preserve for 2 years. Then we worked for Nizona Hunt Club first season, and then I ended up opening my own place, which was called the Silver State Sportsman. I made a bad business decision, took on a partner, and that didn't work out, and I ended up losing my share of the ranch. And then we packed up and came to Prim Valley, and that's how I got to Prim.
Yep. I always say everything happens for a reason.
So you know German Shorthairs inside and out. Well, when did you get your first one?
November 1986.
So you hunted behind the dogs. You showed the dogs. Tell us. You trialed the dogs. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I was fortunate. I got to do, like you said, shows, obedience, field trials, hunt tests, as well as use them for guiding. And the more I had them, the more I fell in love, and they just became a huge passion in my life. I can't see myself without a German Shorthair. I'll die with one.
So you know the breed inside and out. You decided that you wanted to breed good German Shorthairs and to come here and guide. you had set the guiding up before you moved down, and to do some training. So how has that went?
Not as I had planned it to go, but it's going, and we're making progress, and this year looks like it's going to be a lot better year for Gordon's Gun Dogs.
So theoretically, you could have made enough money guiding to pay for your expenses, and everything else would have been, butter on the cake, kind of speaking, frosting. What happened?
California was blessed with one of the best quail seasons in the last 15 years. And because of that, people were wanting to hunt wild birds versus preserve birds. So the business wasn't there at the preserve that I had hoped for.
So your reputation for training was good enough to get you some decent, steady clients. What happened?
Yeah, and it's for this year, we did get to train a lot of dogs, but there were payment issues. Guys forgetting to pay, guys making partial payments, guys not paying at all. And that causes all sorts of problems in a business because, unfortunately, it takes money to grease the wheels of business.
That's true. And puppies, obviously you breed so you can produce better dogs, and, you want to keep some from good breedings for your breeding program, but you have to sell puppies. So what happened there?
Well, I sold puppies, but a lot of times we didn't get the price that we asked for the puppies because, one, I noticed that there was a little bit of a surplus. Let's just say with the rise of popularity in German Shorthair Pointers, there has been a huge flood in the market. And that killed a lot of the prices. And dogs that would normally sell for X amount of dollars were no longer bringing those X amount of dollars in. They were anywhere from $200 to $600 less than what they would normally sell for. For right now, the market has actually gone back up, which is a good thing for that type, that standpoint. But hopefully it continues to stabilize.
So tell us about your dog and your breeding programs.
We are committed to raising versatile hunting dogs that are also excellent family companion dogs. We've been fortunate, we have some very good lines that we've been working with. A lot of Von Heinholz, Hillhaven's Hustler, Stradivarius, Trekker, I think Evolution, Beers Evolution. We've got it's just a great mixture of old school stuff that we've been fortunate enough to have and get to work with.
What kind of dogs you planning on breeding? Tell us about your beginnings and your thoughts now.
My goal is to have a pretty much dog that just doesn't require the intense training that the average bird dog has to go through right now. We want a dog that has such strong natural ability and desire that when it hits 6 months old, you could put it on the ground and it's going to go out and point back naturally, retrieve to hand, just pretty much be the equivalent of a 3-4 year old gun dog.
So you want a dog that's genetically programmed to do everything he's supposed to do.
Correct.
The owner puts the dog on the ground, gets a little time in him, spends some time out in the field, and the dog should do what it's supposed to do.
Yes.
What are the main characteristics you're looking for in the dog?
One, it's got to have a lot of drive, but not hyper drive. It's got to have that want to be out in the field. It has to also want to be a team player and work with you. No self-hunters. That's very important because we're a team in the field. The dog and the master, or the dog and the owner, they have to be on the same length. They got to be wired together. That retreat
Water work?
Water work. You know, I used to didn't think water work was important until I met Randy Randall. He would tell me, dogs gotta have water work. And I would say, Randy, I live in the desert. What do I need water work for? It's not like there's water. You know, guess what? Now I'm here and there's water everywhere. A dog has to have water work. I see the importance of that now. Okay, so a short hair is bred to hit the water and do a job just as good and even better than a lab. And it's very important that the dogs have that.
You're breeding for the breed standard, so your responsibility is to breed what kind of dogs?
Our responsibility as breeders is to make sure that we're breeding the dogs that the founders who created this wonderful breed created, which would be a versatile hunting dog. Now, a lot of guys will sit there right now when they see this, they're going to be, well, we don't need versatility. We just do birds. And, you know, and that's fine. It's a person's choice on what they hunt. But the breed standard needs to still be met. Because that's what we're supposed to breed for. That was the whole purpose of having the standard and that original breed to begin with. And if we're breeding for anything less than that, then shame on us. We're not doing our job.
So what is it? What should a German Shorthair be bred to do?
It should be bred to hunt, land and water, feather and fur, natural abilities in backing, retrieving, again, land and water, and also be a sound family dog. And I'm probably missing out on a few things. Tracking, yes, it has to track. It's got to do the versatile hunting. It's got to be the versatile hunter. It has to be.
So are you lacking anything? Let's say for the person who wants to find just birds. He just wants to hunt upland birds and find Gambel's quail or pheasants. By taking one of your versatile dogs that you have bred, will they lack in that area?
No. I don't see how they could.
You started off with basically, in the 80s, an American German Shorthair with mostly German background.
That is correct.
That dog, tell us about that dog.
That was Azriel von Heinholz. She was a daughter of Dutch von Heinholz. And she was just a phenomenal dog. I wish I had the experience I do now when I got her. Because I was sitting on a godsend dog. She hunted birds, waterfowl, deer, and anything else I wanted to put her on.
So that dog that was 40 years ago still would be a top dog today.
Yes.
So
yes.
Probably not much in your goal that you're going to improve the breed. You're just trying to bring out what has already been handed to you.
Yes, to maintain that integrity.
Yeah, that's pretty important. So obviously you're no backyard breeder. You know what you're doing. You're in line. You run a business that has nothing else but German Shorthairs. I mean, revolves around raising, breeding, training German Shorthairs. I mean, you will train some other dogs, but your focus, your live stream, your study, your history has been with German Shorthairs. That's not where you lack. Just figuring out how to make the business work and be profitable and make it day to day. So what challenges do you think you're going to face?
Oh, well, again, you know, you got that the getting paid part. If people could just hold up their end of the bargain, I would be riding on easy street.
Now, I know there's been dogs that you've trained and finished, and the people got in a hard predicament. And I remember delivering those dogs to Northern California and giving it back to the people that could not pay for it because you're such a humanitarian that you wanted them to have their dog. You didn't keep their dog or sell their dog. You trained it and gave it back to them when they were at the point where they couldn't pay. whether that makes a good businessman or not, that makes a pretty good man.
It
So,
makes a bad business.
Melissa, what are some of the challenges you see? What are some of the things that you didn't expect?
Picking up so much poop.
Picking up a lot of dog poop.
A lot of dog poop. We're not talking, just a few nuggets, okay?
How about these half days? From
You
6
mean-
in the morning to 6 at night.
Half days. I was thinking more 4 hours. We're talking 12 out of 24, okay? And then there's been some days that have been longer.
So you have to know. That's the pointers we rescued, being a little surly with each other. So you have to know genetics. You have to know health. You have to know, you have to know the history.
All that good stuff, yes.
Yeah. How's that been? How about raising a puppy? You guys raise a puppy. You got your
Oh,
litters
my
in the house.
goodness. When we have a runt puppy, people want the runt puppy. But people don't understand what it takes to raise a runt puppy. Because a lot of them don't make it. We've been fortunate and blessed that our runts have made it. But it's like round-the-clock dedication just to the runt puppies. To the rest, you have to make sure that they don't crawl or roll out of the area, that they stay warm.
Mothers don't squish them.
Mothers don't squish them. Like this, the runt puppies require extra feeding every 3 hours around the clock. I mean, it's a lot of work raising puppies. I don't know how you do it, Randy, because you've had multiple litters, and I envy you. I really do. You guys work hard, and I try to work as hard as you every day.
Yeah, well, we're set up a little bit better. We've been doing it longer, so we have outside areas and trailers and, play areas and, some of the stuff you guys don't have. All of your litters are right in the house.
Yes.
Even when they get a little older, at 5 weeks when they make a big mess,
Mm-hmm.
our job's easier over here than it is over there. But I told you could bring yours over here anytime you want. So what have been some of, we know you've had some low spots. What have been some of the high spots? What makes you want to keep doing this? I mean, Rashawn, you know a lot of people, and you've talked to a lot of people, and you're getting a pretty big following. People seem to like you and what you do, but what brings you pleasure from day to day?
The finished product.
That and
Watching the puppies point. Oh my goodness, there's nothing better than watching a dog that you've been training just go out there and just shine. It's awesome.
and the people.
And the people.
We met some good people. The satisfaction of knowing that my puppies go to a good home. To get the pictures that come back to me, the stories that come back to me. It's like, to me, short hairs are magical dogs. I got touched by one 1986. I love it when it's like feeling that magic again through somebody else.
Yeah, that's
Especially if they have kids that are just getting into the sport. They get to grow into hunters along with their dog.
yeah. You're responsible for giving somebody probably the greatest gift that they've ever received, and that ties them in personally with you. And I agree that's some of the highest points. Now, what percentage of people do you run into that just kind of make life miserable?
Oh, you only got to meet one.
We've had a few. We've been blessed to only have a few, because a lot of businesses, they have many. We've only had a few, and we've managed to work through it and pull through it. I mean, what more can I say?
And I'll tell you the other thing is having a friend like you, Randy, is definitely
The highlight.
because there were some times where I sat there and was just like, man, I don't know how I can do this. I can't go on, but I sit there and I go, man, Randy does this. Randy can do this. I can do this.
Well, you guys have been a blessing, and I'm glad I've been able to give back. Now you've dealt with other breeders. You know, what makes your breeding program, personal attention, guarantees? What makes you different than some of the breeders that you and I both know? And why should a person come to you?
I have a good product. I mean, you know, my dogs. I stand by that. I guarantee that. You know, I want total customer satisfaction. I want them to feel like they have a quality, you know, dog that they know that it's guaranteed. That's very important to me. And so far, all of my people who have bought dogs are happy. They love their dogs. I haven't had any returns. And to me, that's a good start.
Okay, you tell me the advantages to having your own stud dogs and some of the problems that you've had using outside stud dogs.
Well, let's just say I used one stud dog. The breeding didn't take. I'm still owed $1,000 for a breeding, but unfortunately, I don't really want to breed to anything that this guy has right now. So I'm probably never going to see my $1,000.
No, you'll see it.
Would you give the $1,000 back?
If it was somebody that did the, you know, came to me,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, without a doubt.
Okay, let's say at the time of the breeding, the stud feed was $1,000. You have moved on to your breeding program, and now your puppies are selling for $500. You've owed this guy $1,000 because the breeding didn't take for a year or more, and he comes to you and says, you know, never mind the breeding, but I would like to have one of those puppies.
I give him a pup.
Would you charge him $500 extra?
No.
Because you've just made this guy wait a whole year and nothing's happened. And that's integrity. People don't realize, I mean, you don't have to name any names, but give us an idea of what a lot of the other breeders are doing out
there. They're ripping people off. They're not standing by their product. They're not standing by their word. They're just in it for themselves to get what they can get out of it. And that actually leaves a pretty bad taste in my mouth. Because I'm in a business. I obviously need to make money to survive. But I also take in consideration people's situations. And when they spend money on a product, they need that reassurance that there is integrity from who they're getting it from.
Right. They want to call and talk to you about your dogs, about the problems that they're having. I mean, I know a lot of breeders that won't even talk to you on the phone and go over that kind of stuff. But you do. I mean, either one of you guys will spend as much time as it takes.
Whatever it takes. They got our babies.
You know.
Yeah, unfortunately, I do a lot of phone time. And when I say that, unfortunately, I'm not saying that as a bad thing, because it is actually something that I do enjoy, and I want my buyers to be satisfied, and I want their lives to be easy with their new addition. But it does take up a lot of time where I could be out helping Melissa with something, or you know, she's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Well, Melissa, I'm sorry, right now I'm working.
Right.
Yeah.
She thinks I'm Facebooking.
You are.
So, I mean, I will have to say that as far as knowing what's going on in the short hair world, you definitely know, because Rashawn will oftentimes be talking to me about what somebody else does, and he'll say, "Your friend so-and-so," and I'll say, "I don't even know who that is." And he'll say, "Well, he's on your Facebook as your friend." It's like Rashawn knows these people. I mean, from the, you know, local fish and game biologist, you know, to who's hunting what dogs, who's running what guide service, what they're finding, what dogs they're using, what the field trial people are doing, the hunters are doing. You definitely got a vast knowledge of what's going on out there. Where basically I have no clue half the time. So, how about the paperwork and the AKC stuff and the shots and the tails and the intricacies, the finite things that it takes to run a kennel? What have been some of the challenges there, and how are you going to meet that in the future?
Melissa's been a big challenge from that. I got to keep her away from the paperwork and stuff. But outside of that, we got to.
I know where you sleep.
You got to kind of keep a good record system going, and that's an area that Gordon's Gun Dogs could stand a little bit of an improvement in. But we're working on that too.
Yeah, couldn't we
Eventually.
all? Yeah, Kim does a pretty good job for us on that. Okay, so you guys get a pretty good understanding of Rashawn and Melissa, what they do. I mean, if you watch the video, you can see they're sincere, they're working hard, they have the knowledge, they have the background. And, you know, they should be one of the best breeders here pretty soon, not only in Arizona, but the United States. So,
Thanks, Randy. I take that as a real big compliment coming from you.
Especially coming from you.
yeah, right. Okay, thanks.